Hello and welcome to this fantastic video. In this video I'm going to explain some really important advanced English. Now I say it's advanced, but really I'm only going to teach you 2 words. Okay? Now each of these words we use them only as the first word. Now you think, if it's such a small word, why is this advanced English? Well, I'll explain why. The words I'm going to teach you today are so and anyway. When do we use so as the first word in a sentence? When do we use anyway as the first word in a sentence in English? Lots of native speakers, you'll hear me saying these in some of my videos, use so or anyway as they begin a sentence. Now, advanced English, maybe you have the wrong idea about what advanced English is. Really, advanced English is not long, complicated, beautiful sentences. Advanced English is quite the opposite. Advanced English is the ability to express more with less. So when you've got a very good advanced English level, and what native speakers do also, is we're able to express a very complex idea or transmit a complex message just with 1 word, or 2 or 3 words. If you have a lower level, what you find is that to express the same idea, maybe you need to say 2 or 3 sentences to get that message across. As you move into advanced English, what you want to be learning is these small, compact, densely packed words that are able to express and transmit a whole idea or whole message with very few words. That is how you're going to get advanced English. So, let's look at these 2 words. So and anyway. Now I'm sure if you watch films or series in English, you're probably going to recognize and hear these words a lot, but I'd like to know, how often do you use these, you, as the first word in the sentence? Now, I've made another video about the different uses of so, because so is a very common word in English. In this video, I just want to explain so as the first word of a sentence, because it's extremely common and you need to use it. If you're not using it, you're not going to sound like you're using advanced English. You're not going to sound like a native speaker. Now, I want you to. So I'm going to explain how you can use these. Now, I'm sure, as I said, if you're watching films and series, you'll hear these very commonly, very often when the actors, the characters speak, and they use it as the first word and it transmits a very important message. I'm going to explain, first of all, so, because this is the first most common one. And then I'll show you anyway, because lots of native speakers use this as well. The first most common way that we use so is to make small talk. If you see a person in the lift at work, or you see a person that you haven't seen in a long time, we often introduce a question with so. So, how was your holiday? So, what did you do at the weekend? And you think, what is the meaning of so in that question? Because how was your holiday? And so, how was your holiday? The meaning is the same. It's the same question, isn't it? Well, so has a very important function in this one. Essentially, the meaning of so, it's used to break the silence. If we just ask the question directly, in English it sounds a bit hard. It sounds a bit abrupt. Now, as I'm sure you know, in English we tend to be quite polite with the words that we use. The way to be polite in English in general is not to be direct. We don't like direct language, so we tend to move around sentences like this, okay? The less direct you are, the more polite it sounds. So we like to break this silence, introduce the question, this small talk question, using so. Now listen to the way I say it. So, how was your weekend? What do you hear when I say that? So, how was your weekend? What you hear is that the intonation is quite high. So you've got this high intonation word, and it's used to break the silence to introduce the question. Now when you say so, like that, the person listening will think, they're going to ask me a question, a polite question about my life, my weekend, my holiday, my family, whatever. What you do is you say so with slightly high intonation and then ask your small talk question. It can be about anything, the typical small talk questions that you ask every day with your friends, family, colleagues, people in the street, a shopkeeper, whoever. We use this all the time, okay? So the first meaning of so, comma, and then a small talk question. Good. Next one. This is used, now I've put ... at the beginning. this is normally following something that you've already said. It generally introduces the conclusion or the logical consequence of what you just said before, or a sentence which justifies what you've just said. This is really going to the original meaning of so when we have it, comma, so. For example, it was raining, so I took an umbrella. This one is a very similar function, but it's normally because you've been speaking about something in great detail and then you introduce a logical consequence of what you've just said. An example of this could be at the end of this video. In this video, I'm explaining when you can use so and the importance of so. At the end of the video, I could say, so it's a good idea to use this word, because that sentence, it's a good idea to use this word, is a logical consequence of everything that I've explained up to now. Next and last one. So, I want to talk about da 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 da. You're in a meeting, for example, and you're introducing the topics, or you're giving a talk or a presentation in your job, and you want to introduce the points that you want to say. For example, so basically transmits the message, like the first one almost, that you're going to say something essential, something basic, or you're going straight into the details. Maybe before you're speaking about the weather, you're speaking about work in general, and then you say, so let's talk about da 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 da. So I'd like to talk about the first point. So I'd like to. So all of those sentences could be used as the first sentence to introduce, okay, now I'm going to speak about what I want to speak about. Okay? So what this does is, again, used to break the silence or change the subject. That's so as the first word. Very important. You hear it lots. You need to use it if you want to use advanced English. Next one, anyway. Anyway. Again, just like the first use of so, anyway often has slightly high intonation. Now, slightly high intonation and anyway, we often use this when, imagine you're speaking about something and then you realize that you've started to go off topic. You've started to speak about something that you're not supposed to talk about, or that you didn't want to talk about, or that's just not relevant. Now, to bring the conversation back to the original thing that you were speaking about, we use anyway. Okay? Anyway. I want to continue speaking about, or anyway, as I was saying, da 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 da. So, you heard that again, yeah? As you're speaking, when you start to realize that you go off topic and you want to bring it back to the original topic, or to continue what you were saying before, you use anyway to communicate, now I'm talking about what I was talking about before. It's a very important word, and it tells your listener, it gives them this message that, okay, now I'm going to continue speaking about what I was speaking about before. Now, that's the meaning of so. Now, I'm going to put a link to another video, which is me explaining all the different uses of so in English, because there are many, and you need to use them if you want advanced English. There's so and anyway. See you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. See you.